everybody, I am really excited for today's conversation. I have Stephanie Schull. She is the CEO, founder, and inventor of Kegelbell. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, this is a lovely way to spend the day. I've been so looking forward to it. The b8ta stores, I just love hanging out with you guys in person in the b8ta stores, and being able to be with the crowd this way is just a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, I know you said we wanted to jump right in because we have a lot of stuff to cover today, and lots of fun stuff. So, the first thing to ask is what inspired Kegelbell?
Oh, yes. Well, so I come from a family of 5 girls, and I never heard of pelvic floor stuff, nevertheless. And my mother, having had 5 girls, unbeknownst to me, she had things like bladder leakage, bladder prolapse. Well, all I knew was one day she had some surgery called pelvic mesh, and as a result, she's like in crippling pain for the rest of her life. And so when I was saying, what happened? How did you end up like this? That's where she was telling me these issues she was having in the surgery. And I did some research because my background is in academia. And the research made me realize that, wow, most of us women have pelvic muscle weakness. And a lot of the options out there are not great. And so that's where I started to get involved. And what really pushed me over the edge to make Kegelbell, to quit my job in academia and start this company, was finding out how many women hold back from doing things they want because of the symptoms of pelvic floor weakness. They were saying they don't travel, or they don't go dancing, or they don't do the sports they want to do. So when I found that out, I'm like, okay, ladies, you're going to be doing that again. Let me get involved. And I haven't looked back, and no regrets. It's been a great time talking with all the women out there.
That's awesome. Now, what are Kegels, and why are they so important for women's health?
Yeah, exactly. How is it that I went so long in life without knowing that and understanding that? Well, so Kegels, however you want to say it, totally legit to say it either way. It's an exercise that you use to strengthen the muscles of the pelvic floor. And let's just say in the instance of a woman, the pelvic floor is going to be like the vagina, and that region, that area of the body. And it's important to strengthen them because there are muscles there for a lot of reasons. Those muscles have a job to do, basically, several jobs. One is those muscles are supposed to hold back urine and feces and gas. Lots of people say bladder leakage, but there's gas leakage too, folks, and fecal leakage. We don't want to say it, but a lot of female athletes know very well about those issues when those muscles get weakened. There's also organ prolapse, like my mother had, where the bladder or the uterus starts to drop. A lot of us don't know it's muscles, and so we hear time to get a hysterectomy. Didn't know it's because the muscles weren't there. And then thirdly, let's talk about it here. You guys are very, open-minded. Sexual function. And so Kegels help the muscles, which help with sexual function. And we're talking laxity, lubrication, and orgasm. So Kegels work. You could just sit there and squeeze, like I could do it right now. Okay. However, you're just isometrically squeezing your bicep like this. Okay, great. What happens is women don't do it properly or often enough, therefore they don't get the results. So yes, they work if you could do it properly and often enough, but we can talk more about that component. But yes, they work. We know they work. Medical doctors are supposed to recommend it as the first line of treatment, and yet people aren't doing it and they're suffering.
So let's see it. Who's the Kegelbell for?
Yes, right. Okay, thank you for asking that, because people think it's a little lady problem, and that's not true. Okay, it is true that it gets worse over time, but I would like to say it this way. About 20% of 20-year-olds, 30% of 30-year-olds, 40% of 40-year-olds, and so on. Until you're in your 90s, and that's 90% of 90-year-olds. So that's why I think people think it's an old age problem, but think about it, 20% of 20-year-olds is a huge number. And those are, women or people with vaginas, if you prefer to have a larger category, I just shorthand say women, if they're young, if they're an athlete, definitely at any age, female athletes, because of the nature of their sport, the high impact nature, will have problems. If they've had a kid, if they have overweight, or sometimes, you know, I mean, a lot of women in their 20s who just like disconnected from those muscles. Culturally, we're taught to like disconnect and not identify with those muscles, and they atrophy. And so atrophy can happen at any age. So I appreciate you bringing up that question, because it's not just a little lady problem.
Yeah. Now, speaking of, is there a best place to do these exercises with the Kegelbell? Is there a best time of day or time to do them?
Not time of day, but definitely place. And not Kegels in particular. I would talk about, like, were you asking Kegels in particular or Kegelbell in specific?
With the Kegelbell.
Oh, with the Kegelbell. Yeah. This is what surprises people. It is a unique device. It is patent pending. So people think it's going to be like other devices they're familiar with. This one is only used 5 minutes 3 times a week in muscle building mode, and then just once a week in maintenance mode. So you're talking about 5 minutes, not a lot of time. And it needs to be done in a private place because of the unique design. And so most of our customers are choosing bathroom, bedroom, and I would say the shower is probably the most popular place. And that's because you kind of want to hook it into an already existing habit. And showering is kind of a thing that we do regularly. And then also busy moms tell me that's the only place to have a moment of privacy.
Ah, yeah, that makes absolute, yeah, really. You need to lock yourself in the bathroom to probably get away from the kids sometimes.
Yeah. So we have a shower holder for people who have to keep it in the shower.
I love it. I did actually see that on your website. I was like, that's really cool. That's smart. Yeah. Now, how does one use the Kegelbell?
Okay, yeah, it is, and I have to explain because it is unique. So the Kegelbell kit, I decided I wanted to put all the parts in there so that people don't have to buy things separately. And so this will get any person who buys it enough exercise. So we start out with 2 inserts. They don't use them both at the same time. They choose. And how do they choose? There's a bigger one and a smaller one. And depending, like if they've had a lot of babies, they may need to start with the bigger one. If they haven't, they could maybe start with the smaller. The cool thing is a lot of our customers start with the big one. When they get strong enough, they can start using the smaller one. So they insert this small one, let's say for a case, this just a small piece right here, like they would a tampon. It's very comfortable. It's a very familiar feeling. It's not a big deal. And this may be enough weight, but as they get stronger, they add weights. And so you can see this little weight dangling right here. So they're standing. They're standing while they're using it. And this part is outside the body. And that's what makes it unlike anything else and is confusing to me. Not to me, to other people. This part inside the body, all the rest is outside the body. And you use it standing because like gravity is going to make it want to fall out.
Right.
And then you stack the weights to add more weight. And then it gets quite heavy. So what's happening is gravity's trying to pull it out, and your muscles, like just reflexively, the perfect muscles kick in to hold it in, which is great because what that does is it removes the guesswork. Your body just reflexively does it. And because you have weight, it's much less time. So not kegling 3 times a day, every day, just, you know, in maintenance mode once a week for 5 minutes. And that's the power of weight.
Now, I know that you mentioned the movement even, so obviously it's not a static thing, so the movement also helps with the exercise. How so?
Right. Yeah, let's geek out on that. Okay, so how is it different? Most people might be familiar with like a yoni egg or a jade egg or a Kegel weight, and that's just this part, and it's put inside the woman or in the vagina, let's say, rather. And that's not what's going on here. We've got this whole piece here and this piece here, and as a result, so Kegelbell, even if you just look at the dead weight and measure it, we're twice as heavy as any vaginal weight kit out there. But the fact that it's hanging from this dynamic cord means that little movements like that when you're standing create dynamic forces that multiply this weight. And then if you put on shoes and you really want to give yourself a workout and bounce it, then you're getting a 4 times multiplier.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So now it's many, many times heavier. But I don't say that to scare people. It's absolutely comfortable. It doesn't hurt at all. Why heavier matters is you're working out more effectively, therefore faster, therefore less time and getting better results. And that's why it matters.
That's awesome. Now, How did you decide on the design of the Kegelbell and then also the materiality? I know that's really important to you. So can you tell us
Yeah.
more about that?
Yes, that was everything. And boy, did that delay, production. So what I love about b8ta is that you guys support these small, independent inventors like me. I mean, I invented this on my own without any resources, okay? And wanted to do it right because I got involved because I cared about women's health. So I wasn't going to be like some other devices that are on the market that use cheaper toxic plastics. Some of them have like little doodads and little decoration to make them cute for the ladies. And all that is adding toxic materials, difficulty cleaning, and problems like that. So for me, it was a big, big deal that we sourced, it's called USP Class 6, a very technical term. It's to say that it's understood in the industry to be medical grade. And so we use medical grade silicone and coloring. I want to say that because I was talking with the manufacturer about multiplying the expense by many degrees to use USP Class 6. And then they're like, and the coloring? I'm like, what do you mean? You have to put in, you can't ruin it by putting in coloring. So we also had to put in USP Class 6 coloring. I just, you really have to watch because people don't make those decisions in the business world. And when you do, you have to really advocate for it and push every step of the way. And then we use a zinc alloy for the stuff that's outside the body. So that took time, a great deal more expense. I have to say, before I did this, I was very naive about manufacturing, and I thought everything in the world cost 10 cents to make. I don't know why. I just thought, I don't know where I thought this or heard this. And that some people just charge more for a luxury item and some people charge less. Well, I didn't know that if you make decisions like I did, the material costs and the production costs and the mold making is crazy, which is why you don't see often people like me trying to make this happen.
Now, we had a great question here. Carol Lee Me asked, how young can a user be to actually start using this?
Mm-hmm. It is true that teenagers that are athletes will run into trouble with their pelvic floor. I hope they're seeing a pelvic floor therapist who's well recognized to help with that. And we work with physical therapists, and so they could recommend our product. Anyone over age 18, I would say, buy it. Try it. We have a refund policy. Just go for it. It may well help you. And that's why it was so important for me to get that out there. You don't have to arrange for expensive doctor's appointments, and you don't have to try to find these specialists. They're very hard to find. You can buy it, try it. There's no way you can hurt yourself. Okay. And if it doesn't work, then you weren't a candidate for it. And then we have the refund policy because we know it's going to work for almost everyone. And so we're able to do that.
That's awesome. Now, you start using it. How soon do people start seeing results?
Oh, that's the best part. Yeah, I know. So when people think of exercise, they think, oh my God, so it's going to be 3 months, 8 months, 2 years before I see anything. Not the case here. These muscles were designed to do these jobs. They want to do it. And so what we're finding out is within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's very consistent. We survey our customers all the time. It's also true if you go to a pelvic floor therapist and they're helping you get strong. The medical studies show 2 weeks is like kind of that marker. So 2 weeks, you're going to start to get results. It may just be less leakage, more strength, more squeeze. But some people are writing me that their leakage went away entirely in 2 weeks. And I'm just like floored. Or their sexual, objectives were met. But I can definitely say, if it's going to work for you, you're going to start to notice something within 2 weeks. And then you will probably work out however you want, 3 months to get to your maintenance level. And then you're just once a week for 5 minutes. That's it.
Now,
strong for the rest of your life.
We have a question here. How do you know if you should be maintaining or building muscle?
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, to which I would say, anyone could be stronger, right? Okay, and also, yeah, so I'd say we're all candidates. I go to the gym and I work out, and it's about prevention, getting ahead and really conditioning that muscle. And then, so a lot of our customers may already be strong or may get to that level of strength and continue to go up the levels of increments. Why? Well, that's where we're going to get into the sexual health piece. As that muscle gets stronger, it can contract more profoundly. And it's contraction and release. I just want to say it's not just tightness, it's contraction and release. That's where you get into orgasm enhancement, and people often pursue greater strength of squeeze for that reason. And so there's some upside there.
Now, we do have another good question. How about using it postpartum?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Definitely great for that. We recommend waiting the usual amount of time before starting robust exercise after delivery. So that's in the instruction manual, but it's for that purpose. Most women hear about Kegels from their doctor postpartum, and the doctor says, do your Kegels. And, but it's also great pre. So if someone plans on pregnancy, I would say start doing it now and get ready for that.
Now, we have another question that asks, how much weight can a woman hold safely?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. So I worked with medical advisors when building this, and one in particular early on was really, really significant to me. He reconstructs vaginas after cancer and other injuries. So, because I was wondering at that point where to end the kit, like where to stop building, because I even have an extension I didn't tell you about. We do have an upgrade that doubles the weight. And he's like, if she can hold it, she's fine. And what happens is, so there is no limit, you know, in that sense, because a woman's standing and she's holding it, and you know, what will happen is a natural safety mechanism. The minute her muscles can't hold it, they tremble and let it go, it just drops right out of the body. So there's a natural safety built in. So just try it, go for it.
Yeah, what do you have to lose, right? You try it and
yeah, I mean,
see what you can do.
Exactly. Have fun. And that's the thing, I don't want women to stress out over it. You know, if you're using the weight and holding it in, you're getting stronger per force. It's going to happen, and you can't do it wrong. I mean, doing it wrong would be, there is one way you could do it wrong. Don't use it for hours. You know, we recommend a very small window, 10 minutes max, but you're holding, squeezing, and relaxing during that time. Just like with weights, you hold and then you let go. Here's where I get so upset and why I got involved. Those Kegelbell and yoni eggs, they say, wear them for hours. So what they're saying is keep your muscle cramped and contracted for hours. Now that's not going to kill you, but what it's going to do is it's going to cramp up your muscle, and you're going to get a muscle that's constantly tight and restricted. Not going to, like I said, you're not going to die, but you definitely want to avoid that, because then you're going to have to go see pelvic floor therapists, and they're going to have to release that muscle through massage and other techniques. And yes, we do have customers who come to us with that problem of already having tight and cramped muscles. And to that we say, you know, have it released with a pelvic floor therapist, and then, you know, you need to strengthen that muscle then, and then use Kegelbell to strengthen that muscle.
Now, I wanted to ask, what are some common misconceptions about Kegel exercises?
Good one. Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that it's easy. And sure enough, I can tell you how to Kegel right now. It'll take less than a minute, you know. But we know from medical studies, not ours, just medical studies that have been out there for decades and repeated, that 75% of women can't Kegel properly even after instruction.
Wow.
So easy, yeah, takes a sentence to describe it. But what's going on is if a muscle's atrophied and a woman's disconnected from that muscle, she can't locate it to squeeze it. And so what she's probably doing is she's squeezing her abdomen or her thighs or her buttocks, and not getting to the appropriate muscle group. And also, to do isometric Kegels without an adjunct device, you're doing them 3 times a day every day, and most women just don't. Well, you know, who can? So that's why. So it's not easy. And I think the other misconception is some women think Kegels are just for bladder leakage and don't know about the prolapse of the organs I spoke of, or sexual function. And other people think it's just for sex, and they don't know about the bladder leakage. And the last thing I think is the biggest misconception is people think, oh, Kegelbell, that's just for the pleasure of a male partner. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. I mean, yeah, it is true. It will be pleasurable for a male partner. But that's one benefit on a list of like 20, okay? And so I would say that that is a misconception where people dismiss it. Like, I'm a feminist. This is for the guys. And like, no. This is you. We've got, yeah. There's so many important reasons to use it. And yes, we have lots of very happy lesbians using it. And it is a feminist product in design, intention, and in its use.
Absolutely. Well, and it's designed by a woman for women, so, or for anybody with a vagina.
Anyone correctly, yes.
Yeah. Now, Stephanie, what are your users saying?
Oh, that's why I love doing this. This is what keeps me going. You guys support inventors, so you know the hardships of a startup and an inventor. And, you know, I haven't seen a single paycheck or dime yet from this adventure, and we're a few years in. But hey, greater than riches is hearing from customers. And so what I love is like the 2 weeks and it's working, or just some of the stories, like some of the more powerful stories of women will write and say, I'm raising 2 girls and I want to make sure they don't suffer the way I did, and they know how this works and what's going on. And, you know, that, like the next generation I know will not have to suffer any length of time. And that's profound. I would say the other thing I'm hearing from customers is like before customers, here's what I love is midnight before Mother's Day. We just had Mother's Day last week. Some lady messaged me on Facebook and she said she's depressed, she's divorced, 52, getting divorced, 52. She wanted to know about the payment plan. That's what she was writing me about. And, you know, I had her in mind when I did this. And it is, you know, girl, I gotcha. You know, you're going to be strong. You're going to be proud. You're going to be confident in having fun and doing everything you want. And the language she was using is language I hear a lot. Like she felt broken or damaged. I'm like, you have weak muscle. 2 weeks, we're going to get you right back where you need to be. And in 3 months, I said, send me pictures of the hot person you're dating. And I love that. I love it when they share what they're doing. And so that's what keeps me going, for sure.
Yeah, and you know, it's such a powerful product in that it helps to drive confidence that has been lost as a result of this, right? And at the end of the day, as people age, this is just a natural part of life on top of it all, right? So these are exercises that can help build that muscle up and just build confidence in oneself to face the world differently.
Yeah, so beautifully said. And it's true that that's feedback we're getting. And so I'm about to do a survey called a swagger study, because how do we quantify when people say they got their confidence back and their swagger back? And I'm the biggest, I think, example of that. I've got tons of swagger now from using Kegelbell. So that is everything when people, and that confidence is about at work. Like, imagine being in a boardroom, 2 people talking, and you're having leakage. It's not great. It distracts. Imagine being a busy mother trying to juggle getting those pads and diapers, and a lot of women write me, I'm trying to run after my kids and I'm leaking everywhere. You know, or a school teacher wrote me, I'm terrified there's going to be a fire drill and we have to run and everyone's going to see me leak. So it's that kind of thing, you know, as well as the confidence in the bedroom that, you know, I want everyone to feel powerful in that context as well, because that's, you know, important and not to be dismissed. And then I would say also for athletes, what I've really noticed is athletes will perform it no matter what, because they're obsessed and they care. But boy, do you hold back if you're leaking, right? And there's this one, I never got to speak with her, but her trainer communicated with me. This one power lifter, she would like spray on the platform urine like a shower head. And she was still doing her thing, but boy, you're feeling strong, you're competing at the highest level, and you have to manage that embarrassment. So her trainer had her use Kegelbell, and she got to compete in the Arnold for the first time ever, came in second, dry on the platform.
That's so awesome.
So I love that confidence allows them to perform at the highest level.
Now, any tips or tricks on the use of the Kegelbell or just in general?
I would say you got to use it, right? I mean, the woman who's competing in the Arnold, the Ironman athletes, the women I'm speaking of, they used it. If you don't use it, you're not going to get the results. So then I think the tip and trick is, how are you going to integrate it into your life? It's 5 minutes, 3 times a week when you first start using it. But how do you engineer your life? Do you use it in the shower? Does that help? Are you going to use it in the bedroom to get you going? That's a good reminder to use it. Get your partner involved. Maybe they'll help remind you to use it. So I would say find a trick to integrate it into your life, because when you use it, that's when the results come. And then after you get to a certain level, you just need to find 5 minutes once a week. And so how do you remember to do that? And I think that's really the only tip and trick. And then don't worry, as long as you're using it, you're going to get strong.
And then, I love your enthusiasm and your passion behind the product. It's really, really awesome. And I've enjoyed our conversations together, and obviously here as well. But I think you've kind of alluded to a lot of this in some of your answers. But what are you most proud of ultimately, having launched Kegelbell, and I know going through some of the challenges that you went through and getting to a final product on the market? What would you say you're most proud of?
Oh yeah, the list is long, because it is about, I think I'm most proud of the people that I'm working with, because a lot of people stepped up. You know, a lot of people had to step up. If I have no money, that means people are giving, offering, helping. I call them the vagina philanthropists. And that's been humbling and stunning to see. And it would not exist without it. So I would say all the help from our fulfillment team that work to get it out immediately to people, and are so devoted that they're doing this, you know, in a way that's philanthropic, I would say. To, you know, every person you see involved is doing it that way. So I would say that I'm most proud of, and the team of those people. And then secondly, it would be, yeah, I feel like, yes, Kegelbell alone won't get you second in the Ironman or sixth in, you know, the Arnold, or on the date with this dreamy person. You have to develop yourself. But whenever customers write and share that with me, you know, I feel like I'm a little bit, we're on stage with, you know, we're a little bit there with them at those moments. And so, yeah, I think I'm most proud. I like to go through my email and see pictures of these ladies doing all these wonderful things, and think that we're there with them in some way.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you know, it's awesome that we have this great partnership. You're in a lot of our stores, obviously through our website as well. So it's really fun to have this product, because A, it's a unique product, B, it's effective, and C, honestly, I think it's really great that your passion behind your own product, which sounds silly to say, but you know, there's some people who invent and then they don't necessarily think about that. They think about what's next, where you are so involved in this, and your passion definitely shows, and it's super fun to see as well. So thank you so much for all of that.
Well, could I just have a moment to speak about b8ta and my experience with b8ta? So having no money, participating in any kind of retail program is nearly impossible. And so b8ta made something possible. And but it's more than that. b8ta took a risk, okay? We're fighting taboos here. People don't talk about these issues. We're censored in most platforms from speaking directly to women about these issues. And so b8ta put themselves out there and say, we're gonna support women's health. We are. And that was a big executive and decision, as well as you had to have, of course, the buy-in from your b8ta testers. And so the whole community of b8ta people saying, we'll take this on. You've been censored other places. We're going to have it. And you guys are the ones having the conversations with the customers. And your male b8ta testers, your female b8ta testers are there. And I've been to the stores and I've talked with them, and I'm totally in love with every b8ta tester, you know, I've met. And to see them interacting with the customers, you know, it like brings tears to my eyes. And I often have to say, it's been so much fun to, like, I'll sit in the back of the store and watch the customers interact with the device, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And what I see is, like, if the women are alone, they'll like take pictures of the device, okay? And they'll take pictures of the video screen, and then I'll notice that if a woman is like with her friends, then they're there forever. I love it. Just watching them, you know, interact and laugh and have fun. And if she has a male partner, she'll like flag her male partner over, and then he'll be like, oh, okay. And then he'll walk away. But if a man sees it first, this is fascinating to me, he'll be looking, and then he'll look for his wife and try to bring her over, and then she'll look at it and she'll go, no, and then she'll walk away. So from that I learned, you know, definitely this is something that I think women have to discover for themselves and with their friends. And even though we know that most women do tell their male partners about their problems, I feel like it was just fun to see how people interact differently. And someone told me, I think, that Kegelbell is like the most photographed product in the store, so I'm pretty proud of that.
I love that so much. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much again for joining me today. Everybody, this is Stephanie Schultz. She is the CEO, founder, and inventor of the Kegelbell. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to b8ta.com and search Kegelbell, and it'll populate right up. And you can also learn more at kegelbell.com. And obviously, any questions, shoot them over to our platform, and you can chat with one of us on b8ta.com, and we'll gladly answer any of those questions that you have. But until next time, everybody, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you on Friday. Bye, y'all.
Bingo. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.